welcome those in the audience as well as those that may be online. Today is September 19th, Tuesday. It's 10 a.m. This is the weekly meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Weber County. I'm Commissioner Gage Frohr. I'll be conducting with me this morning. To my right, Commissioner Jim Harvey. To my left, Commissioner Sharon Bolos. We're going to start the meeting this morning with a Pledge of Allegiance given by Scott Park. Invocation will then be given by Chris Crockett, and the thought of the day, Commissioner Sharon Bolos. We'll get to that point. Scott?
Will the audience please stand and repeat the pledge after me? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our kind Father in heaven, at the beginning of this commission meeting, we bow our heads and offer up a prayer of thanks unto Thee for the many blessings which we have. We are so grateful to live in this beautiful country, this wonderful state, and in this community. We are grateful for the rights and privileges provided by our Constitution. And we're grateful to have an opportunity to serve the citizens of this county. We ask that Thy Spirit will be with us, that we may be able to look beyond and find ways to help those who are downtrodden, who are in need, and could use some upliftment. We love Thee so very much, dear Heavenly Father, and we ask for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Commissioner Bolos.
I like how you turned to me, Commissioner Harvey. This is going to be really good. As you know, we've been doing a lot of work on the jail bond and the messaging and getting the information prepared to go out to the public. And we've had some intense meetings, and it's been frustrating for some, and it's been very emotional, and we're still working through that. We had one meeting yesterday morning, and one of the individuals called me out of the room and just unleashed everything that they were feeling. And at the end of that conversation said to me, I don't expect you to do anything, but I just needed you to listen. And I thought about how important that is. Sometimes we've done everything we can, or sometimes we can't do anything. But it's important for us to be there for people when they just need to have a listening ear and get their feelings off their chest so that they can be productive and move forward.
Great thought. Appreciate that. Good lesson for us. All right, with that, let's go to our public comment section. Anyone in the chamber would like to come forth and address the commission? Now's your opportunity. Or anyone online? Shelley? Okay. With that, let's go on to our consent items, commissioners, then, which should be starting with consent items F1 through 6 this morning. F1, request for approval of warrants 8938 through 8970, and number 479 127 through 479 252, and number 291 through 292 in the amount of $2,185,306.17. 2, request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $222,629.12. And we'd look for a summary of warrants and purchase orders from Mr. Ricky Hatch. Ricky?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning. We issued 13 purchase orders this past week for $223,000. 61% of that amount, or $137,000, is for the jail to purchase and replace 4 rooftop AC units. 22%, or $49,000, is for the sheriff to purchase a search and rescue vehicle as well as drone remotes. 13%, or $29,000, is for the health department to purchase printer equipment, vaccines, and some computers. We issued, as far as checks go, we issued 161 warrants this week for $2.2 million. 37% of that amount, or $803,000, was health insurance for employees. 23%, or $503,000, was an escrow release to Osprey Ranch. 8%, or $182,000, was for our roads department to purchase chip and tack oil and other road supplies. Then we had two items at 5%, or about $118,000. One for the library, which was to purchase software licenses, books and materials, building maintenance, and utilities. And then one for the jail to pay for those 4 rooftop AC units, as well as replacing a boiler.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Hatch? Seeing none, let's go on. Thank you, Ricky, for that presentation. Our next consent item, F4, would be request for approval of ACH payment to Zions Bank in the amount of $116,982.82. 5, request for approval of minutes for the meeting held on September 12th, 2023. And 6, request for approval of business licenses. Those are our consent items, Commissioners, F1 through 6. Comments, questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion to approve consent items listed F like Foxtrot 1 through and
Oh.
including 6.
Thank you.
Second.
And we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Let's now go to our action items. Action item G1, request for approval of a resolution 40-2023 at the County Commissioners of Weber County, making appointments to the Ramp Tax Advisory Board, the Ramp Tax Recreation and Parks Committee, and the Arts and Museums Committee. Our own Shelley Hallisey. Shelley, go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity. It is that time of year again where we update our appointees, and we actually have a new one this year, but I'm going to go briefly over just what we're requesting today. We're requesting that Kevin Burns be reappointed to serve a term, excuse me, on the Recreation and Parks Committee and Advisory Board. This appointment will begin October 1st, 2023 and end September 30th, 2026. We're requesting that Ernie Gonzalez be reappointed to serve a term on the Arts and Museums Committee and Advisory Board. This appointment will go from October 1st, 2023 and end in September 30th, 2026. We're requesting that Corey Green is reappointed to serve a term on the Recreation and Parks Committee and appointed to the Advisory Board. This term is also from October 1st, 2023 and will end on September 30th, 2026. We're requesting that Zachary Thomas be appointed to serve a term on the Recreation and Parks Committee. This will be from October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2026. And finally, we were requested that Lacey Richards be reappointed to serve as chair of the advisory board, Kevin Burns reappointed to serve as the chair of the Recreations and Parks Committee, and Ernie Gonzalez be appointed to serve as the chair of the Arts and Museums Committee. All of these terms would be from October 1st, 2023 and end on September 30th, 2024. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Shelley?
What a great group of individuals who shared unselfishly who share unselfishly their time to better our communities. Our thanks to them.
Yes,
And I'm assuming that all these people have agreed to these appointments.
they have.
It sounds like that most of these people have served in the past.
They have, all except for Zach, and I've spoken with him. He's very excited to join the board.
Great. Okay. Commissioners, other questions, comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Resolution 40-2023.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a second, and that would be a roll call vote.
Roll call vote for Resolution 40-2023. Commissioner Bolos.
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey.
Aye.
Chair Frohr.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Thanks, Shelley.
Shelley.
And I understand that the ramp, under your direction, receives great recognition, or will receive recognition from Ogden City in an upcoming presentation, so that's a great thing.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow, that's great. Okay, yeah. Hard to go through everything that that ramp has done for this community. Touches a lot of lives. Thanks again, Shelley. Okay, let's go ahead with our request for approval of another resolution, which would be 41-2023 for an interfund loan from the Weber County Capital Projects Fund to Culture Parks and Rec for renovations of the Ogden Eccles Conference Center. Mr. Scott Park, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioners. So for somebody outside looking in, they may wonder why the county is lending money to itself. And so I just thought quickly I'd mention, in Weber County and governments, we have funds, and each fund has a different source of revenue. So specifically, the fund that is used to help support the Ogden Nichols Conference Center, our Ice Sheet, our Golden Spike Event Center, and our Parks and Recreation comes from the Tourism Fund. So that has taxes that's levied on restaurants. It also has taxes that are levied on hotel stays when guests come in from out of town, and also if you rent a vehicle. So those tax revenues go into our tourism fund, and specifically the TRCC, or the Tourism Recreation Convention Fund, that tax is able to be used to support the maintenance and operation of convention facilities such as the Ogden Nichols Conference Center. And so we're collecting that revenue each year, and we have an excess of maybe $2 million that we're collecting each year over and above what we need for the operations of those facilities, just the regular operations. But it's not quite enough to cover the capital projects. And so what we could do is we could wait until we had 7 or 8 or 9 years down the road and we had built up enough cash in that fund to then go out and remodel the Ogden Nichols Conference Center. But by that time, the cost would have increased, so we'd probably have to wait another few years. And we'd kind of be in that never-ending cycle of trying to save enough money to keep up with inflation while we need to do these repairs. The solution is, well, we actually have another fund, our Capital Projects Fund, that has some cash in it right now that we're saving for some additional projects, but those projects are a few years off. And so what we can do is we can use that cash right now, renovate the Ogden Nichols Conference Center, and then have the Ogden Nichols Conference Center pay us back as it collects that tourism revenue over the next few years. So what we've done, and we've structured it similar to a line of credit. So the line of credit would be up to $11 million, and we would only lend them what they actually need for the actual construction. And so it's got a little bit of cushion built in there just in case costs go higher or there's overruns or different things happen with change orders. So we would lend up to $11 million, and then the tourism fund would actually pay that principal plus interest back to the Capital Projects Fund. So the Capital Projects Fund is no worse off for having done this because they would have invested their money. Well, they're still investing their money just in another loan. And the benefit to this is by borrowing cash internally, we can lend it to ourselves at a cheaper rate than what we would have to go out on the open market for. So while the county is still not losing any interest income because we're still earning it from the tourism fund, we're not having to pay an outside bank that interest. We get to keep the interest ourselves. So it works out to be a benefit for both funds. And so what we're proposing is that the commissioners authorize by resolution for the County Capital Projects Fund to lend up to $11 million to the Culture Parks and Rec Fund to be repaid by those tourism revenues over a term of no longer than 10 years.
Great. Does that conclude your presentation, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Great presentation. Commissioner Harvey, this is in your portfolio.
I've got a question for Mr. Park.
Go ahead.
Recently, one item was from Standard & Poor's, and then the other was from Moody's, two of the world's largest vetting outfits for being financially secure. One was upgraded and one was maintained. Is it these kind of actions that the county does that help us maintain two of the highest performing bond ratings available in the United States? Are these some of the actions one would do to get to maintain those types of ratings?
Yes, by not having to go out to the bond market. I mean, it's just like anybody with their credit. The more debt you have, the low, as you get to a certain point, your rating goes down. And so by being able to take care of our own needs internally, that helps maintain our strong credit rating.
I want to just to take a personal privilege.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, and thank Mr. Park and the vast teams from the Clerk Auditor's Office, also in the Treasurer's Office, and every other county employee that works here to help get us to a point where we're able to really keep what I'm proud of, a mark of we're certainly within the top 2% of all counties within the United States of America when it comes to being fiscally responsible with taxpayers' funds. I just wanted to make that note. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Scott, anything else?
Nope.
Well, I appreciate your presentation. That was a great explanation. It just makes a lot of sense that we have money in our capital projects, that we lend that rather than go out in the open market. We actually have, in my opinion, the best banker in the state, if not the Western United States, sitting right back there in the white shirt, Mr. John Bond. So, and if he approves it, it's got to be a good thing for Weber County. So it's good. And I think we're excited to see the renovation, the refresh of Ogden Nichols. It really is an economic driver for this community. restaurants, hotels. We saw recently a number of people that were in town that took advantage of that facility. But it's in need of an upgrade, and I think that the public will appreciate it when it's done. And Marty and Jennifer and their crew have been doing a great job in working through with contractors and getting to the point where that project is about ready to start, I was told this morning. So it's great. Okay, with that, I'd entertain a motion on that resolution, Commissioners.
Mr. Chair, I'm proud to actually make a recommendation, a motion that we approve Resolution 41-2023 as presented by the very competent Mr. Scott Park this morning.
Absolutely.
Second?
And we have a second. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote for Resolution 41-2023. Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Chair Four.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Let's now go to our public hearing, which would be a request for a motion to adjourn our public meeting and reconvene as a public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, we're now in a public hearing to consider an applicant-initiated ordinance amendment to Section 104-21-3, which is a manufacturing zone, land use tables, providing for allowance of data services, data centers, data warehousing, data processing, as a permitted use in the MT manufacturing and technology zone. Mr. Bill Kobe, do you want to explain that in a little more detail?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Commissioners. It's good to be with you this morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
This is a very simple line item kind of adjustment and amendment to our zoning code per the applicant's request. We're adding data services, which includes the items that are mentioned there, data centers, data warehousing, and data processing. In the M&T zoning district, this is a manufacturing and technology zone, which allows for this kind of thing, and this is a very straightforward, simple kind of amendment to add this in. We're also adding it per the table that you see on the back of your staff report, that we're adding it into those other zones as well, because we feel like it's a good fit in those zones as well. So not just M&T, but all of those zoning districts, and we'll add those in and get that going.
Great. Yeah, it sounds like, MT manufacturing tech, especially the technology data center uses are starting to become more and more prevalent across our county, and it's a good opportunity for us to recognize that.
That's correct, sir, and it's going to be a good fit for us. You've heard from Stephanie talking about how wonderful this kind of thing will be for our community, providing jobs and other kinds of opportunities out there. So, yeah, we're excited about this.
Yeah, we like those type of jobs. So, all right, with that, Commissioners, comments, questions?
The applicant is here. If you'd like to have any questions for him, or if you'd like him to address you as well.
Anyone, including the applicant, that would like to come forward and speak, now's your time under public comments. Well, we got a thumbs up, so I guess we're okay.
Gave us a Fonzie.
Yeah, okay. That means we like that. All right. With that, and seeing anyone online, Shelley, that wants to address this particular issue, nobody in the audience, so let's go now to a request to adjourn our public hearing and reconvene as a public meeting.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thanks. We're now ready to take action on that public hearing, which would be H2, for approval of an applicant-initiated ordinance 2023-28, amendment to Section 104-21-3, manufacturing zones land use tables, provided for the allowance of data services, data centers, data warehousing, data processing as permitted use in the MT manufacturing and technology zone, as presented by Mr. Bill Kobe.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
if it'd be okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the ordinance 2023-28 as was presented in our public hearing.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Second, any further discussion on that? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Roll call vote for ordinance 2023-28. Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Chair Four.
Aye, motion carries. Resolution's approved, or ordinance is approved, excuse me. With that, let's go to commissioner comments. Now is your opportunity, Commissioner Harvey. I know that you were cut short in our last meeting, so.
Yeah, I've decided to just to hold my emotions and not say anything more.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You're sure?
Yeah,
I want
I don't have
to
any.
pass up this opportunity. Commissioner Bolos?
I bet you'll add to this, Commissioner Harvey. I was out of town last week when there was a Q-Energy. I know we don't know how to say that, Stephanie. Miss Stephanie Russell helped with that ribbon cutting, and we just got a report today that everything that happened out on the county's property where this is taking place, they were singing the praises of Todd Ferrario and all he did for them. And I just wanted to thank Stephanie and Todd and really everyone in the county who worked for that. You guys were able to attend the ribbon cutting. I wish I hadn't had to miss it, but looked like a great event, and I just really appreciate that partnership and the county's willingness to look forward into harvesting methane and just doing something great in our community, being a partner with a local business. So thank you both for representing us, and thank you to Stephanie and everyone who worked on your team to pull that off and make it a great event.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it was a great event. Q-Energy, I think, is how.
That's how I tried to say it. I tried to incorporate Stephanie's pronunciation too.
And you know, it's just an example of the work that economic development's been able to accomplish with our existing businesses. And, you know, I think we hit a home run with this one. It was interesting to me, Commissioner, that there's 30 different wells on that landfill. And I recognized it at that time. I became public. I'm probably one of the few people in the county that actually used that landfill.
Still, well, did.
Well, it did, no, a long time ago, that actually had, you know, opportunity to put whatever we put on it back then. But there's 30 different well sites, and they're only using 10% that runs that conveyor of theirs, the generator. So it's an opportunity for the county to really be the cutting edge of what we are, not only for carbon credits, but to reduce methane in the atmosphere for the betterment of our environment and our weather. So with that, I was, again, Stephanie, great job. Anything else?
No, it's just not wonderful. Wonderful to have a local company that does things and can capitalize on something that was already in the ground out there for the benefit of for them, but most especially for us and the taxpayers. Helps mitigate property tax for all of us. And so in small ways, but that's how you do it. You know, you build Rome one brick at a time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was discussed at that meeting that what a perfect site for a solar project, right in the heart of downtown. And I know that Stephanie's researching that out in terms of opportunities to make that a solar farm as well. Use that. I don't think anything else is going to be on that. I don't think I'm in near history we'll put any more garbage out there. So I think it's an opportunity for us to make solar, make it methane, and produce what we call the biofuel of the future.
Well, and plus we've had 3 or 4 of the cyclocross, high school cyclocross track championships out there using the top of it and doing other things with all the other things surrounding it. So it's been a wonderful reuse.
It has, yeah. Makes a good signature for Weber County, I'll say that. Okay, nothing else, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Now adjourn. Well, almost in record time.